Outside the Box Reviews, and I'm your reviewer to the end. Heidi-ho!
Today we're looking at the NECA Scream Factory exclusive Child's Play Good Guy doll figure. Or Chucky figure, I guess. But this was an exclusive figure that came with the Scream Factory pre-order of the new Child's Play Blu-ray they put out. There was kind of a collector set they did that came with some posters and some other stuff. And amongst those things, you got this exclusive Chucky. Now this is done in NECA's retro style, so it is a body with cloth clothing over top of it. So it's not your standard fully sculpted action figure that I personally prefer. I don't really know how exclusive this is going to be in the end. It could just be that it's exclusive, that it comes in this cool Good Guys packaging, which is a great representation of the box from the film, or if this particular version, that's the nice innocent Good Guy doll head sculpt as opposed to evil Chucky, is the exclusive bit. I'm guessing it's all one big exclusive and neither of those things are going to be offered elsewhere, but I could be very wrong. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at Chucky. So I normally don't review packaging, but I kind of feel like this is an accessory in its own right. It's the Good Guy doll's box. We have a window here in the front where you can see the figure inside. I'm sure a lot of people probably won't be opening this figure because of that. Mine came a little damaged, so I'm glad I'm an outside the box collector anyway. We got the Good Guys logo and text. The same kind of artwork that I believe is in the movie. I think this is all pretty darn accurate. The different versions of the good guy, the different costumes you could dress him up in. Of course, we do get the NECA logo here on the side. Similar stuff on the other side. Good Guy logo up top on the box. Some more NECA stuff there on the bottom. And the Good Guy doll artwork there on the back. This is the second time we've gotten one of these Good Guy doll boxes from NECA. The previous release came out with the Cult Classics version of Chucky, which was a fully sculpted figure. He came in a normal clamshell package, but you did get this box inside. You can see some of the little differences. There's no Play Partners toys and no little tiny UPCs on it that we got on this old box. But this old box also had an open front, and you had to assemble it, and mine at least is very kind of flexed out and doesn't want to stand on its own. Plus, I think this new one's much more in scale with the figure inside, and overall I think it makes a better impression for shelf presence. The other accessory it comes with, the actual real accessory, is his Good Guy doll hammer. Has the Good Guy logo there on the side, has some nice wood grain going on there in the handle, and a well done hammer head up here at the top. This appears to me to be the same sculpt and same basic paint scheme that we got with the one that came on the Cult Classics line, except this one didn't have the Good Guys logo on it. I think part of that may have been licensing. I think both McFarlane and NECA, when they did their normal, not scarred Chucky figures, made them based off of the sequels, not the original. I think that was a rights issue, but all the accessories kind of mirrored the original film. So I think now that NECA actually has the rights to the original movie, they're maybe taking a little more advantage. That's just speculation on my part. I've complained in the past about these retro style figures. I don't really like the way they sculpt them. It's usually a little bit of a softer sculpt that they give it. I don't like the cloth clothing as much. I think it looks a little goofy. Here with Chucky, or the Good Guy doll I should say, they've knocked it out of the park, and really they're making me forget I kind of hate this line. The sculpt on here is really nicely done. They went with the very innocent looking Good Guy doll, the classic wanna play face, bright blue eyes, this little ginger eyebrows there, all the freckles and the red in his cheeks, the happy little mouth. His hair is all actual real rooted, well not real hair, but fake hair, but rooted hair inside the head. It's really nicely done. The head's a little squishy because of it, but not like significantly squishy. The hair looks pretty darn good, has a nice shine to it. It's a little messy, which is a bit of a problem, but not something that's absolutely horrible. You can peel it back, you can see they sculpted his ears pretty well underneath there. Going down the figure, we have the undershirt here with the stripes on it, and then we have the overalls over top of that. For the buttons here in the front where the straps of the overalls connect. We have all the little symbols throughout the overalls, which is something that sometimes gets missed on figures like that. We have the Good Guy kind of front piece across his chest. Spin around to the back, you see the straps in the overalls. You can see the shirt does have a piece of Velcro down the back, but it's not super noticeable, which is surprising on a figure this tiny. The pants do seem to kind of have an elastic around the waist to help them sit where they need to sit, which is definitely a good thing. They continue on the the pattern there. It looks really nice. They're cuffed with a similar stripe pattern that the shirt has. His hands are pretty basic. They're both gripping hands, but they are nicely detailed. Little fingernails and wrinkles on the palm. And then down at the feet, they detailed out his good guy shoes with the white laces and the red. And we even got all the great detail there on the bottom, which is a significant part of the film, so it's nice that they include that detail. No peg holes, but he doesn't really need them. He actually stands pretty well. For articulation, he has a ball joint at the base of the neck, and that's my one complaint with this figure. His range of motion at the neck doesn't seem to be great. I feel like there's something a little stiff on mine that may need to be loosened up, but he really doesn't seem to have much forward and back motion. It's more back than forward motion with his head, so he kind of tends to look up a little bit, but you could also rotate his head side to side as well as pivot. His arms are on a pin and socket joint, so they will go forward, back, as well as out to the side. Really good range there. We have an upper bicep swivel, so if you turn it, you do have to rearrange the clothes, but that's really nice. He has a double jointed elbow, which was very surprising to me and very, very welcome. The hand can rotate as well as hinge up and down. He has what I believe is just a cut joint here at the waist, but he does get a fair amount of articulation out of it, considering that he has clothes on. It would be kind of nice to be able to lean him forward and back, but you can use the hips for that a little bit, which are on pin and socket joints, so they'll go forward and back as well as out to the side. You can also rotate the upper leg. You get a single joint at the knee, bends about 90 degrees, and the foot is on a hinge. I still wish these would be on ball joints so that we can get a fuller range of motion out of them, especially an ankle rocker or something. But out of everything else, they've really stepped up the articulation, especially on such a small figure like this, and it makes me pretty darn happy. For a size comparison, here's Chucky next to the only other retro style figure I had readily available, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 Leatherface, and you can see the scale isn't really movie accurate. Chucky's definitely much bigger than he should be, and that's always been a complaint of mine with the Child's Play figures. McFarlane made them pretty big, NECA's made them bigger than they should be, but I am happy they were able to cram this much more articulation into the figure, so it kind of makes up for the height difference just to have that engineering there. And I'm hoping if they do release a fully sculpted one, I'm sure maybe they still will oversize it a little bit, but maybe they can get it just a little bit closer, since these retro figures tend to be a little larger than their sculpted counterparts, and if that's true, I'll be pretty happy. And here are basically 3 different versions of Chucky side by side. On the left we have the McFarlane movie Maniacs, on the right we have the NECA Cult Classics, and in the middle, this new NECA figure. Height-wise, he kind of sits in between the other two, though he looks okay next to the NECA one, especially if you pose them together. You can kind of fudge him a bit and make it look like you have Chucky killing Tommy from part 2 or something. The McFarlane one just looks so much different. It has that weird dark flesh tone to it as well, which I never really understood. But this new figure definitely does represent a huge evolution in the Chucky figure. None of the other ones in this scale are near as good as this piece. And I love this figure. I think NECA knocked it out of the park with this. My only complaint about it really is that it doesn't have ball jointed ankles. If they had that, it would be pretty damn near perfect. I am super excited to see NECA roll out more Child's Play figures. I'm actually really surprised they haven't already. I thought with this coming out from Scream Factory, they'd be doing a general release pretty soon after, at least announced and revealed, but as of this recording, I don't think they've shown us anything. But I love the articulation here, the detailing is top notch. I'm super excited to see them do this figure again with an angry face on it. And I hope that's not the end of it too. I really hope we get a part 2 where he's got the bloody stump with a knife shoved in it. Or even one that comes with like the ruler that he kills the teacher with. I hope we get scarred versions. And if I'm really hoping big, I hope we get a burnt Chucky from the original. That would be pretty freaking awesome. Though if an angry looking Chucky in this same costume does hit mass market, I don't imagine that would be a very hard custom to make. So high recommend for this piece, which is kind of disappointing since it's going to be a little harder to get. I'm not even sure if it's still available as of this recording, but when they put out general releases of this, maybe with a slight variance, I'm going to guess they'll probably get a good recommend too. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And until next time, don't f with the Chuck.